Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Our next guest is no stranger to the program, but did you know that she juggles a busy student life, a full family, and many volunteer opportunities? Let's welcome Angela Oyler to the table.
Hello.
Welcome.
This is so fun.
Yeah, Angela, now we're not by each other.
Yeah.
When you filled in, we were next to each other.
So you filled in first. You did such a good job. We thought, let's get her back and see, like, who is Angela?
Yes.
But your introduction was great.
You do everything.
You forgot the crazy in there, though. The crazy life.
Well, I think we're all crazy a little bit, yes.
Yeah, you've done remodeling on top of school, on top of raising 4 kids, and your husband serving on city council. You helped support him through a busy campaign season last year. But I want to say, because it's just such an accomplishment. Last week you walked.
Yes.
You got your bachelor's.
I graduated. Yes.
Yay.
Yes. And I'll try not to cry, because that was 6 years. Wow. 6 years of, and I swear I crawled to the finish line.
But you did it.
I did it. I did it. And
because our mom brains sometimes stop working.
Or
they're a little slower.
Yes.
When we were
when you have so much going on, it is. Trying to juggle it all.
Too much.
Did you reward yourself?
I will. It's coming.
Okay.
What kind of reward are you thinking about? A remodel?
Yeah.
A trip to Mexico?
Yes, we've done all those.
I know, see?
I pre-rewarded myself.
Very good. That helped you crawl through the finish line.
Yes, absolutely. Honestly, just time with my kids and time with Kevin, and we've got a few little getaways.
Okay.
Nothing fancy, just here and there. And
are you just taking the summer semester off and hopping right back in the fall, or are you going to take some more time off?
No, I'll take summer off.
Okay.
And then I'm applying to grad schools right now.
Oh my goodness.
So
you want to start in the fall? Is that what your goal is? Okay.
Yes.
So tell our audience what you do, like what your degree has been in and what you've been studying.
Okay, so my degree is in marriage and family, which to the normal person, they're like, well, what do you do with a 4-year degree of marriage and family? But I want to go on and get my master's and be a marriage and family therapist. So I'm very passionate about strengthening marriages and understanding the dynamics of families and how they interact with each other and helping them, because I think that we're seeing such a breakdown of families and marriages, and we need that. We need that today. So that's what I'm doing.
That's your end goal.
Yes.
So what catapulted you into wanting to do that? Was it just your love for family that or did something connect with it that got you going?
That's a really good question. So growing up, I had a little bit of a rough childhood. My dad's been remarried several times, so has my mom, so jumping from house to house to house. I've had 30 different step-siblings between all the marriages.
30?
Wow.
30.
That's incredible.
Between my mom's and my dad's marriages. So that was really hard as a kid, and I think for years and years I struggled with it. And then one day, just pondering about what I should do, I really wanted to go back to school. It hit me that all of those things were experiences to help me understand. Of course, I knew what not to do because I watched it, but then I want to know, how do you strengthen families? How do you strengthen marriages and make those just something that is enjoyable? Because there are some good marriages. So what do people do to make that work and make you happy?
Yeah. So let's turn this on you. What is 1 or 2 tips that you think are really crucial in making a happy family or marriage?
Okay, great. First of all, I want to say this book is what you want to read. Start off. Anybody who wants to strengthen their marriage, strengthening your marriage will strengthen your family. So you start at the top.
Oh, okay, I like that.
So you give your kids more security when you focus on your marriage and make that good. But in this book, one thing I really love is John Gottman. It's called The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, and he is the nation's leading expert on marriage. He has studied it and studied it, and he knows his stuff. And he goes through some myths about marriage, and a lot of them I was so grateful to learn. And one of them in particular says, you hear people say, well, fighting is bad. If you fight in your marriage, I have a bad marriage. But that's not true. John Gottman says, it's how you fight that matters. And so you say, how should you fight? What's a good way to fight?
And win.
And win, right. So one thing he says is, if you are attacking the person instead of the behavior, you want to focus on, like, hey, Kevin, instead of saying, Kevin, you're so dumb, you left the clothes all over the floor, that's attacking him as a person. And John Gottman says people who attack you as a person, those marriages are not going to do well. You want to focus on the behavior. Hey, Kevin, I really get frustrated when you leave your clothes on the floor or whatever. Kevin doesn't. Kevin actually should get mad at me for not making bed. But
Vice versa.
But that's just an example. So I love that he clarifies that. So if you have, you fight with your spouse. Another thing is people say, well, don't go to bed mad. No, maybe you should go to bed mad. You should go to bed and get some rest.
That was one of the worst piece of marriage advice I got at my shower.
I think it's changed.
And everything's worse at night, right? And then in the morning you're like, anything. I'm like, why was I worried about that all
for years we
night?
just kept fighting because I'm like, this advice I got on a card in my shower said to never go to bed mad.
It's true.
And
I
I'm
think
like,
that's changed over the years. It really has.
So thank you for sharing with us that it's okay to just let it go.
Yep. Just go to bed.
So I'm going to put you maybe in the therapist seat then.
Okay.
So if we had that problem and we said, then how, if that's been the behavior, the entire time in this marriage, how do you change your verbiage or change your
Scenario, right?
So you're change the scenario. Okay. One thing you have to remember, there are some things about other people that you cannot change. And that's one thing that John Gottman talks about. So you have to figure out if it's something that can be changed and if it's something that cannot be changed. If it's something that can, what I would say and what I do, and I do this to my kids, good thing they don't watch this, is I praise them for the things they do good. Like, oh, I just love how you talk to your sister like that. That was really nice. And you just point out those good things that they're doing. A lot of times we just don't look for the good. And when I started looking for the good in Kevin, because we've had our rough patches too, we've been married 17 years, I started seeing so many things and I realized how his love language was service to me. So for me, it was quality time. I'm like, let's go spend some time together. And he's like doing the dishes and he's like doing all this stuff. And so just recognizing, look for the good, because there are good things about your spouse.
And sometimes then those other things, the negative things, don't seem quite so bad because all of a sudden you're seeing all that positive. And you can handle that. That's okay. That's not that bad.
Yes.
So Angela, that's going to be so exciting. So how many more years do you have ahead of you?
I'm guessing two for school, but then they require 4,000 hour clinical hours.
Oh my goodness.
What does that look like?
So I don't know if I'm going to be doing clinical hours at the same time I'm doing school.
Oh, wow.
But I calculated it, and if I did 40 hours a week, every week with no breaks for the whole year, that would take me a little over 2 years to do just the clinical hours. So it will take me, but those are, I'll have what's called an associate license, so I can practice under supervision. So I'll still be working and getting paid. And honestly, that'll just feel like I'm just kind of
You've arrived.
I've arrived. So it's really just the schooling.
And you can do that while you're in grad school? Or you have to wait till?
I don't know for sure. I think it depends on the program. Some of them say like you do an internship while you're doing some of the classes. So I still have to make a decision on grad school.
I think it's so neat that you're doing it and your kids are watching. I think that's so admirable to watch their mom go through it and see that it's hard. I remember when Kevin was campaigning, you're like, oh, I'm in schoolwork. We're in, sitting on my bed doing homework. They're reading. Like, it was kind of like a family effort, but the kids saw you guys just hunker down and go.
And I have a picture where I have a kid, I'm on my bed and my computer working on my schoolwork. And I have one kid laying this way and one kid across my feet. And they've all fallen asleep at my feet, Mom, I guess this is the only time we're going to get with you for a minute. So
I love it. That's real life, and that's making just a huge difference in your own.
They say, school is so stupid. And I'm like, hopefully they look and see what I've done and not necessarily what I've said.
What an amazing example. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Angela, for coming again.
Yes, for sure.
And come back anytime.
Yes.
Coming up next, our next guest says there's great joy in gardening. Stay with us to find out how.